So, welcome. We have Dev with us today, and he's the proud owner of a Hero Lectro, one of the first ones in Pune. And Dev, how many? Is it exactly a year old, more or less?
It's been an year and maybe 3 to 4 months more, but technically, if you just say, it has been driven for a year now.
For a year now.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many kilometers?
It's been 5,800 on my Strava, which I measure with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have a speedometer, so you use a Strava.
Yeah, I use a Strava all the time.
Okay.
So
So there's a lot of jugaad that has been done by you. So can you just point out all the things that you've added on which did not come along with the cycle?
yeah, first of all, I'd like to mention that Hero doesn't manufacture this cycle in more than 27.5 inches, the height, the standard height.
Correct.
So for me, who's around like 5'11", I guess, yeah.
Right.
For me, it was a bit smaller.
Okay.
So then I had to raise the height of the seat a lot higher.
Correct.
And then because now I'm sitting higher, I had to bend down to reach the handle. Then I put these. So even these are not readily available. So you have to this is a makeshift thing, if you can see.
Okay.
It is just not a single piece, because the ones that
Right.
were coming ऐसे जो आ रहे थे ना पहले.
And I can see that you have a lot of inconvenience for reading
Exactly.
out your gears and all that.
That is of course, yeah, that is there.
Okay.
That is there.
But then frame size, you would feel happier if they had a larger frame
A
size.
bigger one, yeah, a bigger one.
Okay. And again, you cannot change your seat height so easily because you fix the carrier to this now.
Yeah, now, I have kept it a bit loose.
Okay. So it can actually go a little bit up down.
Yeah. Because for me now, my wife has also started riding it. So
Right.
now that she's happy riding it, it has to be
Correct.
adjustable.
So time for the second cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So why an electric cycle? Why not a normal cycle?
Actually, I'm not a cyclist fan. I'm not a cyclist actually, but I'm an electric fan at the same time.
Okay.
So I wanted to try something that is like thoda hatke, and it gives me that joy of that slow riding as well.
Okay.
So with cycling, I figured out that ye slow. You can actually notice everything. You can talk to the dogs. You actually know the dog in that street, because you are now on a cycle and you can
Right.
speak to him and you can
Right,
move on.
right.
You can see the trees, and I go
Correct,
through
correct,
the
correct,
good lanes of Khadki, so I'm really happy. So that's why I got a cycle. But why an electric cycle? Because I'm an electric enthusiast. So yeah.
So you have your daily commute is 34 kilometers.
34 kilometers, yeah.
And you also have a petrol scooter.
I do, yeah.
So how much time does it take by a petrol scooter? How much does it take by a bike? What's the contrast?
Very interesting question, and it is I'll give you a very good answer, because
Okay.
on a bike it probably takes me 40 minutes, and on this cycle I take 50 minutes. Just
That's
10
it.
minutes extra. Yeah.
10 minutes
Yeah,
for
I'm really
a
happy.
17-kilometer commute is
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah. It is a very.
And what's the trick? What's the trick?
The
Let
trick-
viewers know that.
No, the trick is nothing. The trick is nothing actually. You just get so used to that cycle that you want to ride on it. So I do 4 days a week on this.
Okay.
And one day only, just because my wife is कि क्या हर दिन cycling कर रहा है क्या, पागल है क्या तू ऐसे करके.
Right.
Only then I take my bike out, but or else I get on this totally lean.
Okay. Cool. So one more thing which I see missing is front shock absorber. So you realize the problem.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I have already thought about it, that I had to get it replaced with a shock absorber, because Indian roads are really not built for cycling, and they have potholes, and it hurts sometimes in the elbows.
Yep.
It hurts sometimes, unless you are at a slouched position. It hurts sometimes.
So effectively, what Dev is saying is, for a commuter cycle, stuff like front shockers, mud guards, provisions for carrier fitments are very, very important.
Yeah.
Because you need to go to work.
Yeah.
Right, and you can't go to work with mud splattered on your t-shirt.
Yeah.
So did the Hero dealer fit these accessories for you? And
So
how much of service support did you get from the dealer?
Yeah, so the dealer was actually very nice, but because this was one of the initial models, they just fitted it with those plastic type normal type of things, which are only half.
Right.
Yeah, only until here, and they are until here, but they are not practical. So when I'm riding this to work, sometimes on rainy days I have chikkal on my head. Mud on my head.
Correct.
So I had to get these fixed, and these are not sold by the Hero dealer. These are makeshift ones. So if you see, this is a generic,
Balwan. Right.
This is a generic company something,
Okay.
and it somehow got fit, and it doesn't actually spoil the look of the cycle as well.
Right. So Dev, we are in the middle of the rainy season in this lovely green place of Pune.
Yeah.
So tell us your experiences with rain. How's it been? were there any issues of leakages, malfunctions, switches going bad, anything like that?
Yeah. So unlike the most popular opinion that rain is a enemy of anything electronic or electrical, this cycle has been a completely eye opener because I have had almost no problems in rain.
Great.
Except, although I should mention this, that I had taken it for a jet wash once, the wash that we use for vehicles.
Right.
And at that point, it was inverted and it was being washed. So there was some water entry into this thing.
Okay.
And it was misbehaving only for a while, and then I didn't turn it for a day. I put it in the hot sun, and then it was okay the next day. So I was lucky, I guess.
I have also faced problems with my BSA cycle on this unit.
Oh, really?
So there is obviously some sealing issue that the companies need to take care of as far as the controller is concerned, the handle based controller.
Yeah.
Okay, so apart from that, okay. Now what kind of range do you get with the kind of usage cycle that you have? I'm assuming that you're not doing 100% electric all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what percentage is electric roughly?
Yeah, I am. So now, I mean, in the later part of the year when I just got used to the cycle, I used to only use like maybe 30 to 40% of electric. Okay. But initially when I started, it was like 70 to 80% because your legs start to get used to that thing after a while.
Correct.
So then the electric usage is not much.
Right.
But at this point, maybe 30 to 40% of my rides always is electric.
Okay. Yeah. And what range are you getting with 30-40%?
30-40%, I think I can pull it until 50 kilometers.
Great.
But that all depends on the riding conditions and the terrain as well.
But with your commuting, you charge it every day?
I charge it every day just for the sake that I have, if I should not run out at buffer.
Okay. One interesting design philosophy that Hero has followed for its Lectra is to have a battery which is inbuilt into the frame.
Yeah.
So obviously you can't take the frame up and kind of put it for charging. So any practical problems that you faced because of not having a removable battery?
Yeah, actually I have to mention that I am one of the lucky people to be living in a house in Pune.
Okay.
So I have a parking place where there is a plug arrangement where I can directly charge it. But I'm sure this might be happening to people who get it for apartments, because unless you put a charger in there is no other way to charge this battery.
Right. But anyway, I also have a plug point which is attached to my meter. I live in a flat on the second floor.
Oh, that's nice.
So I have a plug point attached to my meter.
Yeah.
And it just pulls it out from there. So it's very inconvenient to take it out,
absolutely. Yeah,
but then Kamlesh, for example, always takes up his battery and charges it at his...
Really? The Reva?
Not the Reva. He has an electric cycle also.
Oh, yeah. That's Snell, right?
Yeah. Right. So, couple of questions now. One is about the kind of controller or the display. So you have a LED display versus more of an LCD display which we see in other cycles, and you don't have a speedometer over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So any kind of, is that okay with you? What's been your experience on that?
Yeah. Sometimes it just feels to see at what speed you are driving this cycle, and it really feels sometimes कि यार ये होता तो अच्छा होता, but that's not been a showstopper for me. Yeah. Okay. And like I have seen cycles which have LCDs on them, they are more prone to get bad sooner, because this is a simple system. A simple system can never go bad.
Right.
Less complications.
Correct. Frugality in terms of design.
Yeah.
What about the seat? Is it comfortable enough?
Yeah. Initially I had bump ins.
Okay.
Right, it was a bit discomfortable. Then I put that gel seat, and unfortunately that gel seat wasn't of a good quality, so I was suffering more on that. Okay. But now I'm gotten used to it.
So your bumps have thickened. Basically.
Yeah, they have thickened, exactly.
Okay, that happens. Right. Now, third thing, so you've got an accelerator over here, and you also have a 12 magnet pedal assist.
Yes.
Right. So when does one use the accelerator? When does one use pedal assist?
Yeah. So the pedal assist is a thing that actually gives you a lot of torque in just a moments of time. So it is really required when you are up a flyover, or you're up a gradient, or you're just taking a turn and you want some speed. But the accelerator is actually a fine control thing. So I really use it at places where there almost isn't a road. So if I have to travel this path, then I'll just use the accelerator.
Rest of your energy is balancing.
Yeah, good balancing, and it is very finely tuned, so you can actually give it the
speed that you want to.
So I think the teeth in it is very nicely done.
Right. So I noticed that your cycle at least does not have this brake cutoff sensors.
Yeah.
Right. So is that a problem that you faced at any point of time because of not having those sensors?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I have tried vehicles which had brake sensors on them, and they're definitely helpful. But from the time that I have got this, I have gotten used to it because I know the cycle now.
Right. So Dev, I'm sure with all this happiness that you've had with owning the Lectro, you must have recommended this to some friends.
Yeah.
And what's the feedback between new cycle that they have purchased and the ones that you have?
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough that I have friends who are interested in the electric technology.
Sure.
And they have ridden my bike and they're like really happy. So some of them have gone to the dealer, have reached out and bought cycles as well.
Okay.
So of them, I have also accompanied them to some of the dealerships,
sure.
and I have seen that there's a new model that has come without the gears on.
Right.
So
right.
that is actually costing maybe 6,000 to 7,000 lesser than this.
Right.
And but I have seen that there are a few changes that they had made, which were I think for strategically cost cutting or I don't know.
Okay.
So they didn't have aluminum casted brakes, so they were plastic brakes.
This one? The
lever.
Oh,
They were plastic
okay,
levers.
okay,
They were plastic
okay.
levers.
Yeah.
They didn't have Promax V brakes or Promax disc brakes. And a small changes here and there. So you will see the difference in quality in the in probably the accelerator rubber also that they that you use. So you can just feel it that it's a light cycle. वो वाला feeling नहीं है उसमें.
So I think as sales volume have gone up, the Hero's mainstream purchasing stream has kind of come into play, and they've started doing what they normally are good at, which is cost cutting by reducing quality. And that's not really a good thing, and I think we need to kind of communicate that across to Hero.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So on the Hero Lectro website that when we visited, we found a huge range of Lectros available.
Yeah.
Right. I believe they've stopped manufacturing the Glide now.
Yeah.
Right. So which of the current models do you think seem to be doing good? Are kind of good for, which you would recommend today? Yeah,
so from the time that these have been released, I think they have rebranded also. So their logo is also different now.
Okay.
It is not that L plus ECTRO, it is like Hero Lectro. They are known as Hero Lectro now.
Okay.
So that thing, and they have come up with some models which are like a lot of them, because a user, if he goes there, it is not like 3 models that you have to choose from. There are like 10 models. Now you have to decide which is good for you and which is not good for you. But usually there is a difference where one has a gear and one doesn't, and all other accessories remain the same.
Okay.
So
the major distinction is the geared models versus non-geared, and frame sizes they don't have too much of choice on.
No, they have one smaller than this, but not bigger than this anymore.
Not bigger than this.
And they have the 700C, the road tire, versus this mountain tire.
Right. So on the website we've got this mid-range drive model with Yamaha this thing. Right. And any takes on that? Have you seen that model?
I haven't seen it as in before my eyes, but I have seen it on TV and on YouTube, of course. So that cycle actually claims to give a range of 80 kilometers.
80 kilometers.
But it has an external battery, so it is not a battery which is embedded inside the tube.
Right. Because it comes in the motor itself.
It comes in
central unit.
Yeah.
I saw it in Auto Expo, and the finish quality at the center was quite bad.
Oh really?
Yeah. So for a 1 lakh plus cycle, you expect much more than that. The frame was not really done very well.
Okay.
बहुत जुगाड़ वाला काम लग रहा था मेरे
को. Is it?
Yeah. Right. So thank you very much, Dev. It was nice having you. And the final words that I want from you is, what are the 2-3 things that you will recommend to Hero Lectro, which they need to incorporate into their bikes so that their sales, which are already high, skyrocket further? Yeah.
So I would say maybe front shock absorbers, which they have already a model that has come up with.
Right.
And that is a bit on the higher costing side though.
Okay.
Then second, maybe a speedometer, because sometimes you are really curious at what speed you are going.
Right.
And maybe a cycle of my height, man. That is the biggest requirement that I need.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dev.
Yeah, thank you.
Much.